All right. We all good?
We're
Should I do
good.
it? All right.
Yes, we got too much to cover. We got to get to this.
Yeah, we got to get going. Look, we already talked about this last episode. We're revisiting old episodes, right? So we're this week we're revisiting Shin Godzilla, which we did way back when in March 7th of 2018. That was episode 37.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
And this week, we're joined by Sam, who's sitting next to me.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Sam.
All right, let's let our old selves introduce the show.
Okay. 2, 1. Boop 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 boop. Hey, welcome to the Overtalking Podcast with your hosts Ken and CJ. Say hi, CJ.
Hi, CJ.
We got a great show for you this week.
I don't care what you say, that intro still does not get old for me.
I thought this one was catchy.
It was.
We might just have to use this one.
It had a groove to it.
Yeah. And suspense.
Yeah.
Mostly a groove. That was
Wow.
so loud in my headphones.
Sorry, I don't know how to change that.
No, it was good though. You know what? That did eventually get old. So that's why you don't hear that anymore.
Yeah, for the listener, anytime you hear that harp noise, that's going to mean we've gone into the past. And when you hear that
Wayback
sort
Machine.
of the Wayback Machine, when you hear that like whooshing noise, we're back to the present, our future selves, so to speak.
Perfect. Yeah, we sound exactly the same. No
Disagree.
difference there.
I sound ill. First of all, I already regret this idea. This was torture to have to listen to 2018 me talk about
Really?
stuff.
Because
Yeah.
I enjoyed listening to our old episode. I don't know. I feel like back then I was like, I feel like I was much more full of life, full of vigor.
I think it was
I
the
don't
Jameson.
know. It was probably
what-
the alcohol that we would drink before and during the show. That
Yeah.
was probably it.
I sound progressively more and more sick throughout the old episode, I feel like. I don't know. My voice is like deeper. I sound like I have a cold. And then by the end of it, I'm like congested. Probably also due to the alcohol, I think.
Maybe. I didn't pick up on that.
I did.
Sam, you listened to the episode as well, right?
I did, and I took notes. They're mainly responses to CJ's complaints, but I have a little sheet of paper that I brought here today. So excited to talk about this movie.
Yeah, we'll get into that for
Perfect.
sure.
We'll definitely get into that in a bit. We definitely wanted to have you back on specifically for this episode because you are our resident Godzilla expert.
That's right.
And I don't know why we didn't have you on for the first time, honestly. So, yeah, this would seem like the perfect opportunity.
I know why we didn't have Sam on for it, because we had just had him on like a couple months prior to that for the Godzilla Final Wars episode.
That's right.
You really want to use me sparingly, you know.
That's right. Well,
Godzilla, UHF, alcohol poisoning for Ken.
that's
That's
A
right.
pandemic later, I'm back, boys. Don't worry.
That's right. Longtime listeners will know that Sam's last appearance was where we did a full-on power hour during the recording.
That was
Ken
so long.
died, and
that was
Sam was
bad
promptly
time.
banned for the show. I think that's why.
I had to do a lot of groveling to get back here.
Yeah, you were banned for the show. We had to give you a 2-year timeout, or however long ago that was. Probably 2 years. Jesus. And now you're back
Glad to be back.
with no alcohol, I might add.
Yeah.
That'll
is
come
wild.
later.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So funny enough, re-listening to this episode back in March of 2018, we got a voicemail from what we've come to know as, I think, our friend. I'll say they're our friend.
You can say that. too.
Charlene Johnson.
Yes.
And let's
Better known as
hear a little
Yunk
bit of
Yunk.
that. AKA Yunk Yunk.
Do you want to hit that button, Siege?
Yeah.
Beep.
Hey, this is Hannah's mom, Charlene. I just wanted to give you guys a call and
Who's Hannah?
express,
I don't know.
honestly express the frustration that I'm feeling at the moment.
Oh.
My daughter has been staying up until all hours of the night. I mean, God knows when she's falling asleep, because she's listening to your radio show.
It's a podcast.
Yeah.
My daughter Hannah, she's a bright young woman who's excelling in STEM sciences,
That's good.
Okay.
and she doesn't need to be kept up all night by this.
It's only an hour
So
long.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to call to ask. You know what? No, I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you that you're no longer allowed to send it to Hannah.
That's
not
and
how
if
that
you
works.
can't
No.
do that, just stop making your ridiculous show altogether. I mean,
I'll
who
give
even
you that.
are you? You think you're Ebert and Siskel? I know Ebert and
Backwards.
Siskel. I read them in the papers. You're no Robert Ebert.
Never
You're
thought
no
of me.
Gene Siskel. You're
Okay.
just ridiculous, the two of you, and I quite
Yeah.
honestly hope you rot in hell.
Oh,
Anyways, as a side note, I love your show, and I listen every week. Okay, bye. Call me back.
you didn't leave him a number.
Yeah, don't know the number.
Wow.
Was that the first time?
I don't know. It must have been, right?
I think so. That was
So
the
we've been
first time we
hearing
ever heard from Charlene.
First time we ever heard from Young Young. And funny enough, we couldn't have planned this, that we received another email from Charlene today.
Yeah.
Could
very
not have planned this better.
fortuitous. Yes.
So,
You wanna read it?
Yes, I've got it pulled up here.
Okay.
The subject line, did you see the movie? Question mark. And again, I'm just going to try to read this as it was typed out. If you ask me, the quotes pandemic, that's a good sign, altered the course and integrity of movies for the worse. Did both if you get the shot? You didn't even include Fast and Furious in your quotes recap. I know you saw it. Or maybe you didn't, because if you did, it would be in your top 10. Ha ha ha. I am not laughing anyways. Vin Diesel is a family man, just like Hannah and Trevor, who I would not mind becoming our son-in-law. Hope it goes that direction. The holidays were nice. God bless, Charlene. Signed off Charlene. Not sure
Char.
what that means.
I don't know. Unhinged as ever. The
We
lore
learned-
of Charlene has grown to her family and Hannah's boyfriend, who also has a daughter, I believe.
Yes, we've now in this email learned that Hannah's boyfriend's name is Trevor, all caps.
Trevor.
Oh, Young. Hope she got into her
Yunk.
Facebook account after all.
I don't know. I kind of hope she didn't. I think she's got some interesting views on COVID. Yeah. So, I mean, to respond to, her criticism, I mean, we read through our top 10 movies and TV shows that we rated, and we didn't rate the Fast and the Furious movies that high. So that's why it wasn't on the list.
I mean,
That's
one
it.
of us did. That I rated it pretty high. I think I gave it at least an 8 or something.
I gave-
Somebody didn't enjoy it.
I gave Tokyo Drift like an 8, I think.
Not that one.
But you didn't like that one. So see, it averaged out to not being that high.
Sam, have you seen the latest Fast and Furious?
I've seen the first one, and then recently I found a Twitter thread where someone clipped the entire first movie. So I watched part of that. It was pretty cool.
What?
Wait, what does that mean?
That was, so they like, I think the max video you can put on Twitter is like 2.5 minutes or something like that, and it was like a 100 tweet thread.
The
This-
whole movie?
This was like during that
What?
brief blissful moment when everyone was like, "Oh, Twitter's gonna die," so someone just posted the whole movie. It's still alive, unfortunately, but
Wow. That's a lot of work, I feel like.
I know
Yeah,
that was
really.
premeditated, right?
Yeah.
They couldn't have just been like,
Yeah.
Twitter's not doing so well. I'm gonna post this. They're like, I'm gonna.
That was
going to
happen either way.
2.5 minute clips and post it.
That's a lot of work.
Oh,
I
man,
kinda wanna
I'll
try
have
to
find it.
watch
I'll
it
send
that
to you
way.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how
I wonder how
movies
long
should
that
be
would
viewed.
take for me to actually watch it if I tried.
Sam, you got to watch the latest one. It's truly bananas and amazing.
So
it's
what
so
number are we
good.
on?
That was
10.
F9.
F9.
Oh,
okay.
9,
And
right.
then there's a Hobbs and a Shaw.
Yes. That's
Okay.
the expanded universe, the
Okay,
FFU,
gotcha.
if you will.
Alrighty. Well, I mean, I'm no stranger to franchises with a lot of movies.
Yeah.
So maybe I have to get into this.
It's good.
I got to be part of the family.
Exactly.
That's right.
I'm saying this
Exactly.
seriously. I really like the movie.
I-
I am serious.
We'll see what I rate it after I watch it.
Okay, please write in, like Young
Let us
did.
know. Yeah.
Oh, maybe, I'll watch it and I'll start typing the same way.
Yeah,
It'll change me.
yeah. Maybe that's what
Great.
did it.
Good. Good.
And speaking of hearing from people, we also have a voicemail.
Yeah, it's been a very
speaking
busy couple of days after our latest episode came out. A lot of reactions, so let's take a listen.
Hey guys, it's Steve. You know,
The Tool Man.
Fast and Furious guy, Citizen Kane fanatic. First time, long time.
Yeah, long time guest.
I'm just calling.
Yeah.
I'm not in the best place right now. I just listened to your last episode where you ranked your top 10, and I got through the whole thing. And obviously, the elephant in the room is that Fast and Furious, in no capacity, made it on that list.
Oh my God.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. That's fair. We're trying to get better about, understanding that concept, as wrong as that might be. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. I feel like this might ruffle a few feathers. You might get some longtime overtalkers that are, pretty broken up about this. And I know you guys have a loyal and committed fan base that is huge. But
yes,
I don't want to see you
definitely
go into the new year with a fractured fan base. So I don't know. I don't really want to be a part of this, but you make controversial takes like that, you're opening up a shitstorm for everyone, and that's where we're at. So good luck to you. We'll see how this goes.
Wow.
Is that it?
I seem devastated. That's it.
Yikes.
He changed my mind.
Wow.
Yeah, Sam's going to watch it now.
The 10 minutes I watched on that Twitter thread was the best movie I've ever watched.
Yes. They only get better.
Wow.
That's my opinion.
So this begs the question, do we need to revisit our top 10?
I thought you were going to say, do we need to revisit the Fast and Furious franchise? We're starting over.
Well, I mean, that too. But, I mean, we're getting this much hate right
Yeah.
off the bat. And I'm sure a lot of people haven't even listened to the episode yet. As of recording, this episode's only been out for a couple days.
Yeah. It's a lot of hate mail already. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know, Ken. Is this it? Is this the last episode of the pod? Do we just hang it up after this? Much hate mail.
The last episode of the pod, as we've said for years and years, is Pretty Woman, right? Or
I think so.
Pretty Woman. I'm pretty sure that's it.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah.
Getting an agreement from Sam. Do you remember?
No comment.
Yeah, okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah, why?
Me neither.
We barely remembered.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Steve, I'm sorry, and we'll try better next year.
Yeah.
Maybe Citizen Kane will make the list next year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Come on for your Citizen Kane, and we'll sort this out.
Yeah.
Flowers and chocolates are in the mail. I'm so sorry. You seem really heartbroken. I've never heard him like that.
Yeah.
One more clip before we go to break. If you're a recent listener and you're thinking to yourself, who the hell are these overlords? What are these guys talking about? Well, they've been around since the start of the podcast. We have no choice in the matter. And back of March of 2018, you can hear why.
To a new house, basically. Which
Sign the lease in blood.
I signed my lease in blood with my overtalking overlord landlord. And it wasn't Krobus this time. I'm still not sure.
Same realtor or something, right?
Yeah.
Same agency.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if they're going to show up like they usually do. I guess we'll see.
Spoilers, they did.
They
I miss
showed up.
Krobus, man.
Yeah.
I know.
I was a big Krobus head.
Yeah. R.I.P. to a real one.
R.I.P. Yeah.
I think he died shortly after that, right? Or was already dead at that point?
He just wanted some friends, you know?
I know. I feel bad. That's another guy I feel bad for.
I think didn't they find Krobus after the fact? So he could have been dead already by that point.
If memory serves, he was found in a backyard. It's buried or something.
Buried himself. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it.
Yeesh.
Yikes. Whole rich lore to the overlords that you can find in our back catalog if you so desire.
That's right. R.I.P. Krobus.
Well, we got a great show for you this week. We're going to actually talk about Shin Godzilla and more coming up on the Overtalking Podcast.
So much stuff to get through. I'm so sorry, Sam.
Yeah. Sorry, Sam.
Thank you for
not
listening
a whole lot.
to the episode.
We'll be getting to
too.
it in a second. Yeah. And we're back on the Overtalking Podcast, joined once again by returning guest, longtime guest, Sam. And we are revisiting Shin Godzilla episode 37. If you haven't heard it before, maybe go back and check it out first, because we're going to be probably referencing that episode more than the actual movie. But we will talk about the movie. And right now, we're going to put 30 seconds on the clock for Sam, you to describe, for someone who's never heard or seen Shin Godzilla, which you should have already gone back and listened to the episode. But anyway, what it's all about.
Ready, go.
Alrighty, so a mysterious creature arises in Tokyo Bay and kind of proceeds to destroy a little bit of the city. The bureaucracy of the Japanese government kind of panics and doesn't know what to do because it's an unidentified creature. They finally kind of come up with a response right before it disappears back into the water. As they're still discussing everything, he comes back, destroys the city, and then they band together to defeat him with a bunch of trains.
2, 1.
Ooh, 30 seconds is a lot shorter than I thought.
Yeah. Time. That was one of our best, I think. Yeah, good job.
I did a solid 20 seconds on the first third of the story and then 10 seconds on the last 2/3. So
I think that's
typically how it goes. Yeah.
Trains, though? Not cranes? I feel like the cranes are the true here.
Planes, automobiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And drones.
Drones. And liquid squirted into his mouth.
Yeah. The crane brigades. Those are the heroes of the movie, not the trains. Trains are unmanned.
Yeah, I just like that scene. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah. Don't they? It even comes up below the cranes and says like 2nd and 3rd Crane Battalion or something like that. I got a kick out of that. Yeah.
Love it.
It's a Godzilla movie.
It's a Godzilla movie. Look, this is my favorite Godzilla movie because I haven't seen that many, but also it is good. I'm going to try not to rehash too much of what we've done in the previous episode, but I think we all rewatched it this time, so we got a fresh take.
Correct.
5 years later, 4 years later?
Yeah. A long time.
Yeah. And I still enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I thought it's still really good. However,
oh, here we go.
I fell asleep during it.
Wow. Dang.
Yeah. So, but I'm an older man now. I can't stay awake as late as I used to. So maybe that's why.
Can I ask what time you were watching this at?
I was watching it at 2 p.m. and no, I'm just kidding. I was watching it at night, like 9, 10.
Oh, okay.
10 at night.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. I woke back up and then I finished it. But it was during the boring boardroom scenes. So kind of makes sense.
Thank you. You heard it here. Ken said boring boardroom scenes. Because came up frequently.
Fair. They were fine. They serve a purpose. Yeah. Sam, this is where you jump in and defend.
I was going to say, I think they move. There's a caveat to that because Ken, you've already seen the movie, so you kind of know the plot. Because I think part of the exciting thing is, seeing the movie for the first time. It's a lot of like rapid fire dialogue where they're all like trying to identify or diagnose what's going on or like come up with a plan. So like. I get where you're coming from, maybe on the second or third viewing, you're like, I've already seen this. Like, I don't necessarily need to pay attention. I watched this while I was at work today. So I during those scenes, I was like, oh, well, let me respond to an email real quick. So like, I kind of get where you're coming from. But I do think it moves pretty quickly still. Like the dialogue's pretty rapid fire. So I'm going to say it's still positive.
Okay. Did you watch this dubbed or subbed?
So I did watch it dubbed this time, and I hated the dub.
Really?
I did not like the dub.
The voice acting is definitely not the best that I've ever heard. I had it in my head that I was like, we must have watched it with subtitles the first time. I'm sure of it.
You guys
I wasn't sure either.
No, we watched it dubbed.
We watched it dubbed, and I think I've only ever seen it dubbed.
I think you guys talked about having it in English, but then also having the subtitles on the bottom, and they were different. Because that's how I watched it today.
Oh.
Huh.
Because it's the subtitles are for the actual translation.
Gotcha.
Oh, interesting.
Because I was like both in watching this, and then I would listen to the previous episode, and then go back to watching it. It was kind of like this mishmash. And I was like, oh, well, I'm sure we watched it subtitles, so this time around, I'm going to watch it dubbed. And then I was listening to the previous episode, and we say we watch it dubbed. It's like, oh, whoops. Well, I'm still going to watch it dubbed because, like you, I was like making lunch while I was watching it, and then got through like half of it, and then was working out and finished the rest of the movie. It was like doing other things while doing it.
I was posting the previous episode of the show while we were doing it. I was like, I'm just going to watch it dubbed this time. And I was like, you know what? I think I've only ever seen it dubbed. I don't think I've ever actually read the subtitles, which I try to do more now. Like especially with live action foreign stuff, like the dubs are usually not the best. And even if they're okay, like the translations may not be quite right and the inflections aren't the same. And
you're not getting the real emotion. And you can tell there are certain points where they're sort of like adding on unnecessary words because the character's mouth is still moving. So they're just kind of having to like repeat themselves to fill that space. This is good to know, Ken, because here is what we sounded like when discussing these boardroom scenes the first time around.
Okay. I mean, they're just, it's just endless boardrooms. And finally, at a certain point, like so much disaster has been wreaked that the one person who is making sense and trying to be actionable gets his own like task force and gets to start like actually looking into what they can do to like solve this.
That's what I'm saying. That's why this movie could have been an hour and it would have been like the same. They could have easily halved half of those scenes.
I don't know. I thought it was cool. I mean, I liked it.
I cut that clip short because it just goes into a lot of like, I get really heated and start yelling a bunch. And
that is the note I had. CJ does not like the runtime of this film.
Yeah.
He's coming in hot. That is the note I wrote.
I think I still agree that the runtime is too long.
I do. So I just in addition to what I was saying earlier about those boardroom scenes, I wanted to kind of touch upon why they were there, because it's kind of in response to the nuclear disaster that had happened in Japan. When it relatively recently to when that movie had come out. When the tsunami had hit. So kind of the government's inaction or paralysis is kind of the critique that they're making or the lampoon, because it's kind of played for laughs when you see it. But I can understand why you'd be like, okay, let's get on with this. Let's get to the point. But
yeah, I will say I did like that you see Godzilla like right away, basically. It's like, oh, cool. We've already, like, we know it's going to show up. Godzilla's in the title of the movie. So we at least get a glimpse of it, and then it kind of like goes away, and then that political tension builds and that sort of thing.
Yeah, Sam, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was the point I failed to make the first time around, was that, this was commenting on that nuclear disaster, because I forgot to look up what it's called, and I didn't again this time. But they played a lot of that. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's the Fukushima. Don't quote me on that.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. But like some of the stuff is really funny of how, like, when they're trying to decide whether or not they can use weapons against it, there's like someone in a helicopter is like, can we use weapons? And it goes to someone on the ground is like, we need to know if they can use weapons. And it goes to someone else and they're like, ask the prime minister if we can use weapons. And then it goes into the room the prime minister is in, and it goes through 3 other people in that room before finally they ask the prime minister if they can use weapons. And it's hilarious. It's so good. And CJ hates it and says it's unnecessary.
I still stand that it's too long for that many of those scenes, and maybe hour 45 I think would have been. Just trim a bit, like a little bit.
If I had to guess, CJ's favorite runtime is probably like a solid 90 minute.
Yeah, of
like
course.
a 95 minute movie, right? Okay.
Even
it's
shorter.
Not yours.
Just building the profile.
Yeah. What's yours?
You know what? I like a 2-hour movie. Yeah, I'm not opposed.
All right.
Yeah.
It's got to have more Godzilla in it than I think for being a 2-hour movie.
Oh, man. You should
I think the
not
longer
see-
the better, man. There's this one film festival.
Says the guy who fell asleep.
Well, yeah. There's this one film festival. I forget what it's called, but they show like the longest films ever made at it. And it's coming up soon in Chicago at the, I think, Siskel Center or something like that.
They're just
Whatever
going to show the
theaters across
Snyder
the street
Cut.
from. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's
I
just
don't know.
that
There's like
6
there's like
times.
5-hour long movies and stuff. I kind of want to go to one
Dang.
or all of them.
I sat through the Snyder Cut, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, see, you know what? I bowed out.
I liked it.
Yeah, I
I
broke that
planned
up.
my entire like Sunday around that. I was like, all right,
Wow.
1 p.m. time to sit down and crank this thing out.
Did you not pause it? Did you like watch the whole thing?
I paused it to like go to the bathroom and like get food, but yeah, no.
cheater. No, I'm just kidding. That's better than me.
Yeah,
I take breaks watching like the extended Lord of the Rings cuts
yeah,
because
you
they're
can't.
pretty long.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't.
The Snyder Cut, man. All right,
It's good.
either an hour and a half or 5 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good. Good. To
No
know.
in between.
Interesting.
Next
Interesting.
Godzilla movie will be 5 hours
Yeah.
long then.
Yeah, I would probably like that. I'm sure there'd be a lot of action.
Something else that we brought up on the old episode was the fact that this was directed by Hideaki Anno, I believe is his name, who is responsible for Neon Genesis Evangelion, which at the time, CJ, you had not seen. However, now you have,
Correct.
because we did an episode
Yeah.
on it. Mm-hmm. Does that bring
I
any
liked-
insight to? Do you even remember watching Neon Genesis?
I do. I've only seen the one episode still, but I enjoyed it.
There's some like scene for scene things that happen in this movie that come from that show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. There's like a lot of like the like military tanks when they're confronting Godzilla. You can tell like I don't know, this is very much his directorial style. He has another movie coming out called Shin Ultraman, which is for the Ultraman
Yeah.
series. It's getting a US release I think sometime this month. But yeah,
Ooh.
it's just one of those things where like these are like things that he was very passionate about when he was a little kid. And so now he gets to direct them, which is kind of cool.
That was very cool.
That's
Dream
awesome.
come
I
true, I'm
definitely
sure.
want to see Shin Ultraman. I hope it's just as good as this. Right, CJ?
Yeah. Okay. Just good as so.
All right, CJ, we're gonna take you to that
kind of
movie.
good.
But no, yeah. So like, I was thinking about that as I was listening to the episode and I was watching the movie. I was like, oh, like I remember you guys watching this. So then, CJ, would you rate Evangelion? What did you rate that? I guess I should say.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh boy, it was just
I'll
from memory.
pull it
Did you like it or not?
Okay. I liked it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure. I think at the time I even said that I would keep watching it, and of course I did not. But I think I enjoyed it enough to say that at least.
all right. Well then, did that having viewed that now change how you felt about certain portions of this movie?
No,
Oh, all right. Well,
did not make those connections.
you know, some people can't be helped. So
Exactly. It's the one takeaway from this. Ken, you briefly mentioned not having seen many of the other Godzilla movies,
Right. Yeah.
but you mentioned one specific one that you have seen. Let's take a listen.
Maybe that would be interesting to see a lot of tiny humanoid Godzillas running around like zombies.
We've seen that before, like in the Matthew Broderick one in the 90s.
I still haven't seen that.
They have like
'Cause I hear that
little
one's really bad.
little Godzillas like coming off of him and
Oh, really?
stuff like that. Or was that the new one? I can't remember.
That was our resident Godzilla expert, Sam.
Yes.
Was like he refuses to watch that again because it's like he's like, no, I don't count that as.
So I will say, I didn't catch this as I was re-listening. You've never seen the Matthew Broderick one?
Correct.
It's
Because
so,
of you.
I will say, like, I've softened on the position of it. It's just like a dumb monster movie, so it's fun.
Okay.
But like, yeah,
can get
it's
behind
not.
that.
It's not like a. You would probably like that one more than this one.
All
I'm
right.
gonna be honest. You probably would.
You probably would.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
No, but it's just fun. But yeah, it's not a great Godzilla movie.
Okay. I haven't seen it because you hate it so much.
Well, then have you guys seen any other of the movies?
I've seen the recent like King Kong, Godzilla,
They
and
call it,
all
the
the ones
Monsterverse
leading up to
ones.
that.
Monsterverse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I've seen all those.
Those are kind of controversial depending on what part of the fandom you're in. I go on our Godzilla a lot on Reddit and people complain, but I like them. I think they're a lot of fun.
I saw another Toho one at some festival earlier this year, but I can't remember the title. But if I give you random snippets of what I remember about it, could you tell me the title?
Yeah, I probably could.
Okay. They go into a volcano and are fighting. Oh no, wait. Okay, never mind. They all live in an island, and then
This is Ibra.
they break
He
out
fights-
of the island.
He fights a lobster, right? Ibra, the horror of the deep.
No, that's not it. Oh man, they're all the monsters living on an island, and then they break out, and then they come back together to fight some other.
You're talking destroy all
thing.
monsters then.
Yes,
I'm pretty
that's
sure.
it.
Yeah.
Destroy all
Okay.
monsters.
So you said break out of the island, and that made me think of a different one. Yeah, no, so since I've been on this podcast last, Mary got me, that's another friend of the pod, she got me the Criterion collection for all the Showa era. So I've been watching through those.
Oh,
Nice.
awesome.
Which one would you recommend above this one?
So one of the things I wanted to bring up, and this is a good segue, is one of your complaints, CJ, is like, you're like, oh, he's not fighting a monster. Like, this is like, what is this? You thought like the first form was like the monster he was going to fight.
Yeah.
And this movie is a lot closer to the first Godzilla movie. So like the 1954 Gojira, it's kind of a slower pace. You kind of see him, he messes stuff up, and then he comes in again and like destroys Tokyo. So kind of similar response to, because that was, kind of in response to nuclear testing. This was more of an allegory towards, the response that they had. But definitely I would recommend checking out the first one.
Okay.
It's really good.
I like that description of Godzilla, that he just comes in and messes things up.
He's a messy boy.
He's a little messy bitch.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the original either. But yeah, I feel like I need to.
I think you'd like it, especially, I mean, if you have HBO, I have opinions on HBO right now because of the merger. But
Stupid Warner.
Yeah.
they have like a great Criterion selection of movies, and they have a lot of the movies from like the 50s to the 70s on there.
Sweet.
So definitely check them out.
I will.
Okay. When you mentioned, or you mentioned me mentioning, maybe, I don't know how to phrase that. But yeah, in this movie, Godzilla he like morphs. That's part of like the radiation.
Yeah, he's a Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he gets to the Charizard level by the end of the movie.
evolves.
and
Yeah.
and they say he evolves into its fourth form. So my question for the both of you: which form are you?
Oh man. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So the first form you don't really get to see because it's just like that little tail wiggling around.
I mean more of you as a person.
I know. Well, I'm trying to go through
Okay.
and think here. So I really
How many
feel
forms
like
have you evolved into?
I really feel like I'm just the second one where he's just kind of
Okay.
waddling around, I just kind of coughing blood up every once in a while. Maybe physically that's where I'm at.
Okay.
I like that one.
Got it.
Okay,
Ben?
I feel like I'm the third form, where I got the bloodshot eyes, but at least I'm on my feet at this point. But I'm all bloodshot and look freaky. That's me. CJ?
I think I've devolved. I think I was the fourth form in the first episode back in March of 2018 because I'm just yelling a lot, and the fourth form is where he's screaming out photons.
You did used to shoot a lot of purple beams out of your mouth.
Yeah,
too. I don't know what
exactly.
that was
I
about.
remember
But
that.
I think it was all the alcohol we were having. And then so now I've devolved and I'm not yelling as much, and
Okay.
I can't do the purple photon beams.
Does
but
that
I'm
make
also
you-
on my feet?
3 or 2 or 1? Are you the little tadpole then?
No, I think 3 because I like Ken. I'm on my feet. I definitely have bloodshot eyes. I'm tired all the time. So yeah, 3. I can get to places. I can like do basic things. I can get around town, but would like to in my free time be back in the first form and just kind of lay down.
You know what? It's a new year.
Yeah.
We're all gonna have a glow up.
Okay.
We're all gonna be glowing purple.
Purple beams.
It's gonna be
will glow up.
good. Yeah.
I like it. Positive attitude. And to summarize, I hated listening to myself. It was really bad.
I enjoyed it.
Anytime, Sam, you were mentioning like, oh, you mentioned this thing, I'm like, oh God, I probably was just screaming. I think parts of it were good.
I have the opposite reaction now. Like, I don't like listening to myself now, but I enjoyed listening to at least that episode. I thought I was going to hate it. I thought I would be like, oh God, what a noob I sounded like. But I don't know. We sounded like we knew what we were doing at that point, at least. So that was good.
A little bit. I think the first half is fine, and then I think the alcohol starts to kick in, and I just get really upset and yell a lot.
Okay.
Just a big baby.
I will say I do like the improvised. What is that? Scatting when you're like.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Ken, you have a fan.
Well, I will.
Okay.
You got a talent there, kid.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
I don't know. I think Justin Peters is going to be pretty upset if we get rid of
Yeah.
his theme song.
It is a catchy guitar riff. So.
Yes. Yeah, Justin's
is.
the best.
He worked in the Buddha Boop thing into the beginning, at least.
He did.
So it's still there.
That's
in
why he's the
spirit.
best.
Should we do some trivia?
Let's.
Okay. I think it's time for. Hey, did you know that? That's right. For new listeners, which, man, hell of an episode to start listening on. This is the trivia portion of our show where we pit our guest and CJ head to head to see who knows the most about what we watched, which, considering we've seen this twice, might be equal, but probably not.
No. Definitely not.
Sam,
My
CJ,
greatest fear
it's
is
your-
I'm going to lose here. I'm like, everyone's building me up like, oh man, Sam loves Godzilla, and I have like too much Godzilla merchandise in my apartment to lose this, so I'm a little scared.
Pressure's on.
It's all on the line. All right. Well, here's the first question. When is the sequel to Shin Godzilla scheduled to be released?
Oh, cool. 2 years from now.
Okay. Sam?
This day exactly. 2 years from now.
Okay. All right.
I don't remember any solid plans right now. I know during the podcast you guys were talking about 2020, but I don't know any. Like Otto's pretty busy right now because he's doing Shin Ultraman and then he's also doing a Kamen Rider movie. I'm gonna guess I had TBD. They don't have any plans yet.
Oh, trick question.
Yeah, Sam gets the point. It's
Dang.
never. It's not going to happen. Too much time has passed, and they're going to just do something else, I think. So.
And also, Sam, we didn't mention before starting the trivia, but if you lose, you're banned from the show again. Just so anyway.
Okay.
Next question.
Well, I also if before I left, Mary was like, if you lose the trivia, we're throwing out all your Godzilla stuff. So
Yikes. The stakes are high.
All right, well, you're doing good so far. Here's the next question. Shin Godzilla won the Japanese Academy Prize for Best Picture. How many other Godzilla movies have won the same award?
All right, I'll go first because this is just a shot in the dark. 6.
Okay,
this is the only one.
that's correct.
Right? This is,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. So I know
Both trick questions.
there's a magazine that like rated a bunch of like top movies in Japan, and there have been other Godzilla movies in their list, but Shin Godzilla is the only one that's been in the top 10.
Dang.
Nice. See, CJ, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
It is. It's so popular in Japan that this is like the image that they use for Godzilla now is Shin Godzilla.
Oh, whoa.
There's like a theme park where you can zip line into his mouth, which seems terrifying, but that's it. That's in Japan. You could do it if you want.
That's great.
Oh, I want to. Holy cow.
And then a slide down his back on the scales. I imagine.
I don't know
Yeah.
what goes on once you're in his tummy. So
Like zigzags through his fins.
Which version of Godzilla is the image? Is it the fourth form?
yeah. So it's the one that most looks like Godzilla. That's
Not the one with the like skeleton creatures coming out of his tail.
he's still got the weird mouth tail. So that form. So yeah, I think that's the fourth form.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be the like 1980s and 1990s Godzilla, what people would call like the Heisei era. And you can stay at like a hotel there, and it's got that Godzilla like on top of it. But for like all their promotional media, it's this version now.
Dang.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome. All right, moving on to the next question for trivia. Including all of the American Godzilla films, which number does Shin Godzilla fall into the order?
Of what?
The original Godzilla movie would be number 1, and whatever the next one is number 2. What number is Shin Godzilla?
We're doing Price is Right rules, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
well,
he was-
just closest. Just closest is fine.
Okay.
Again, I'll go first. Shot in the dark. 11.
Okay, so that's really wrong.
It's so wrong.
It's around like it's either. I don't think it's the 30th, but it's around 30. So I'm just gonna say 30.
Jesus.
It's 31. Very good. You get
Wow.
the point.
I
Yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah, there's
I
a
used
bunch
to-
of them.
oh,
There's
man.
so many.
before, like back in, man, if you would have talked to like 15-year-old Sam about this, he would have been like, there are 28 Godzilla movies that have been released. The last one was in 2004 with Godzilla Final Wars. I own it on DVD. Come over and hang out with me and we'll watch it. Which is why I made you guys watch it.
Yep.
But yeah, I've kind of lost count since then. But I mean, I guess that means there's 33 total.
Jeez. Which, by the way,
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Ken, to your comment, having 11 movies is a lot of movies.
That's the Fast and the
Sure.
Furious right
That's the
there.
Fast and Furious.
That's
franchise.
9.
I think
True,
anything past
true.
like 4 is a lot of movies.
But I mean, this franchise has been around for 60 years. So
Yeah. Crazy. Well, Fast and Furious, we'll
Definitely.
see. Still holding up.
they got
We'll
they
see.
got time.
Yeah.
They're young.
Once they start making foreign versions of Fast and Furious, that'll start to skyrocket, just like
Yes.
Godzilla. Sam, which one's your favorite Godzilla? Is it Final Wars?
So I mean, I have like a favorite of each era. I think obviously the original one, but then after that, I really like the original King Kong vs. Godzilla is fun, and then the Mecha Godzilla movies in the 70s are fun. Then in the 80s, I like the last one. It's a Godzilla vs. Destroya. It's like the edgiest monster that they could have made. It's like a crab dragon that fights him. And spoiler alerts, he like kills Godzilla's son. So Godzilla gets real mad.
Give me back my son.
That's awesome. His son is so weird.
Oh, don't worry. Actually, yeah, if you want a great one, do either Son of Godzilla or like Godzilla Monster Island, because that's got his son in it, and he's got the goofiest voice if you listen to it in English.
That's
but
that's the one I saw. It's so weird.
I like them all, except for Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. That one's kind of boring.
Like all of them, all 30 except for one. That's a great answer.
All right. Well, Sam's very much in the lead, so this is probably the final question. But what is the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter score for Shin Godzilla in percentage, closest without going over? Sam, since you're in the lead, you actually go first.
Okay. I don't know this, but I'm gonna guess it's probably around like an 88%. That's where I'll put it.
Okay.
I think it's higher, 89.
Well, you're both over, so no one gets the point, but it's 86%. So Sam was closer.
Certified fresh.
Yeah.
Certified fresh.
All this praise.
But either way, Sam obviously is our winner. Congratulations. Shocking,
I always
no
forget
one.
that's gonna happen.
You get
You
to
get
keep your
all
stuff.
your
Yay.
Godzilla merch. Yeah.
All right, Mary, when you listen to this, we're buying more. Real quick aside, Ken, I'm gonna make a pitch to you guys right now. Say there's the soundtrack to the Showa era, which is like 11 films,
Okay.
and it's for sale, but it's like $500.
Oh my God.
Would you say that's irresponsible?
Yes.
Because I gotten
Yes.
I gotten like my tax return back one year, and I was like, man, that's looking real nice. and then Mary's like, we are not keeping that in our apartment. You're not
Is
doing
it
this.
printed on like gold vinyl?
Yeah. What
No,
is
but
it?
it's like
yeah.
it's the collection. It's like 3 feet long because it's just that many vinyls. It's I don't know.
Wow.
I see.
Yeah. You
I'll
would
have to
need
find
its
the
own
image.
storage.
Overtalking listeners, just vote yes. Right into this. Email me, email my wife. Yes on this vinyl box collection.
Oof. Too
Wow.
much.
All right. Cool. What do you guys think the audience score was on Rotten Tomatoes for Shin Godzilla?
I think it was probably around there, like a 90, 91.
I think it's a little bit more mixed because I think there are people who go into a Godzilla movie kind of expecting what you were.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say it's closer to like a 75%.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
angry
75%
2018
is exactly
CJs out
correct.
there. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Cool. Well, I think it might be time for our ratings then.
Ratings.
Ratings revisited, but first ratings from Sam. Sam, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate Shin Godzilla for you?
Alrighty. Man, what would I'm gonna say for like a Godzilla movie, in just like if you look at all of the movies of Godzilla and you rate it based off of that, this is like one of the perfect ones, either a 9 or a 10. Just as like a movie, I'll give it like a 8.5.
Still good.
Because I like it a lot.
Nice.
I figure I'm going next. So before giving present day rating, let's hear what past CJ had to say about this.
Okay. All right, what do you give it?
Like a 4.
4?
Yeah.
You wouldn't even bump it up more for like the really, really cool Godzilla?
What was extra cool about him? The neon glow?
Yeah, the glowing
He had,
and
like,
the
the same
lasers
powers.
and the cool ending.
The only thing new was like the tail. That was it. All the others still the same. He's still the other ones we saw. I've seen Godzilla throw out a photon beam or whatever.
Yeah, but it looks super cool this time. his bottom jaw split apart. That was
Yeah,
cool.
okay.
And he morphed from multiple things.
Yeah, but in the Godzilla Wars one we watched, he was in like robot armor and shit.
That was a different
Yeah, I know,
Godzilla.
but I'm saying there were cool monsters in that one too.
All right. That's fine. Okay, so we've established that you're just so wrong. Just right off the bat.
I like
Go ahead.
I like the change in my voice immediately. I like come in very hot and then am like, well, tell me what am I getting right? And immediately back off as soon as you're like, it's cool.
You
It's like,
knew you were
what's cool
wrong.
about it? No, I think I was somewhat right in that I was just bored by a lot of the metaphors in the movie. All right, so now
So you gave it a
today
4
me.
before.
Gave it a 4 previously. For me, it's not a 4. It's higher. I like it. 2 hours is still too long. Trim off like a little fat, maybe 10, 15 minutes or so. But it was more entertaining than I remember, even with all the boardroom meetings. I do get their message that like red tape is bad in times of crises. I don't know that I need to I'm not going to sit down and watch this again though, but it's good. If people like Godzilla, they should definitely watch this one. Maybe even if you don't, but probably still only giving it like a 6.5.
But that's significantly better.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
fine.
that's better. Yeah. That's better than fine. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You're pretty close to the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes
Yeah.
now, so
yeah.
Yeah. I get it. I'm older and
All
wiser.
right. This revisit month is paid off already. I'm happy with that rating.
Yeah. Ken, here's what past you had to say.
Okay. I think I'll start with this one because I think we all know what I think. I'm giving this 9.5 out of 10.
What?
I really, really like this.
How?
Yeah, it's got a lot of social commentary and
No, it
really,
doesn't.
really cool.
The entire
Godzilla
point
parts.
is just that it
Cut myself off. Didn't want to hear more of my.
Go listen to the episode if you haven't yet. It's a funny exchange. Yeah, 9.5 out of 10 before, huh?
Yeah, and Ken, just as a reminder, in 2022, you didn't give anything higher than a 9, I don't think. You gave out
That's
no
true.
10s. Feels like
That's
you're way
true.
more strict these days.
Yeah, I feel like my rating has been more conservative of late.
Uh-huh.
I definitely reserve 9.5s and 10s for the cream of the crop.
Mm-hmm.
And is Shin Godzilla the cream of the crop? It is, but I'm still not going to do it this time. I'm bumming it down a half point because I fell asleep. If it was so it's a 9. It's a 9 for me this time.
It's still very high.
Still very high. It's a very good movie. It's awesome. It's, in my opinion, the coolest Godzilla. And I
is
will
cool.
rewatch this again for sure. And I want to try it with subtitles next time. But yeah, I'm definitely
And
going
then
to
fall
rewatch
asleep.
it. Probably multiple times, I'm sure. I love this movie. Very good.
Wow.
All right. Well, we met more in the middle on this time. I think that's kind of the purpose of this revisit month, right? Is for us to,
Yeah.
watch some things that we feel like need another chance. And I think I appreciate that you gave this an honest shot, CJ. And
Yeah. I liked it.
Maybe see the light a little bit more.
I'm less angry.
Okay.
It was really rough listening to my old self. Just hungover, probably. Just angry.
We were drinking actively also.
Yeah.
Hungover and drunk and
Yeah. That doesn't help.
everything.
All right. One episode in the can.
Well, we got 2 more of these to do.
Yeah. Why did we just think this was a good idea?
I'm
I guess
having a
I
great
changed
time.
my mind. Yeah. I'm having an okay time.
Do you want to tease what the other two things we're gonna do are? They're not
Yes.
really locked in yet, but
We'll make them happen. So we're going to revisit the movie Idle Hands. Sam's laughing.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic episode. Classic movie. The 90s distilled.
Yeah, I agree with that last
yeah,
part.
we had some problems with it when we watched it on the episode, but I've watched it
Definitely some
since
language.
twice, and it I think it deserves another shot than the kind of negative reaction we had to it on the show. So we'll see. We'll watch it together again, and we'll give it another
see.
shot.
And then we'll be revisiting our first guest, really our first episode ever, Burn Notice.
First real episode. Yeah,
With
Burn Notice.
with Cameron.
The rating skills got to come back. man.
Exactly.
It will. It has to.
We used to rate things based on Burn Notice.
Yeah, so look forward to that. That'll be for the remainder of January. Cool. Well, Sam, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you back on to talk about Godzilla, and hopefully we don't wait another 2 years to have you back.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on. I could talk about this for another 2 hours, the runtime of the movie, but I won't. We'll watch something else. We'll talk about something else.
Maybe
I'm
we'll watch
available.
one of those other
I'm
ones.
free.
That you
I'll
said
also
were like higher
if
rated.
Shin Ultraman
Yeah, we
comes
could-
out, we can talk about that.
we can watch those. I'm also down to talk. I've expanded my hobbies now, guys, into more nerdy things. I'll talk about swords.
That's right.
I'll talk about plants. Maybe Star Wars. I don't know. Whatever you got, just throw it at me. I'll try it.
Sweet. Sounds good. All right, Steve, what do we got to plug here?
You can follow us on all the things at Overtalking Pod. Call or text us like Steve did at USACat1591, or email us like Charlene did at overtalkingpod@gmail.com. We read them. Turns out if you email us, we're going to read it on the show. So send
That's
us an
right.
email. A little tease for next week. We have more. We have more voicemails and emails to go through. So stay tuned for that.
And keep them coming.
And keep them coming. And to close out the show, let's hear from our past selves.
And as we always say, bye.
This episode of the Overtalking Podcast was produced by Ken and CJ, edited by CJ. This week's special guest was Sam. Music by Justin Peters, logo by Nate Richards. Check out Nate's work on Instagram at Nate Richards Designs.